What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, dem dragons are back, and I can't wait to talk about them. And my oh my, are the Sith rocking and rolling. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Christian, and we are all caught up on getting episodes out for the people. We are back on track. It feels good.
It's almost like it was going to be episode like 625 about 7 different times, right, Kyle?
Something like that, you know, little zest for the people. We went from episode 153 to about 160 of just a whole lot of hijinks. But hey, it netted us a top 5 position on the podcast charts in Peru. So shout out to Peru for listening to the pod. We love you. I'll take it. I'll take any charts we can get. We're going to dive into the Acolyte episode 4, the halfway point for the season. And then I will be kicking it to myself to break down the first 2 episodes of that Hot D, House of the Dragon Season 2. And my oh my, is it hot? And then we will kick it back to myself and Christian for the streaming platform Multiverse news and notes. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on everything, and then StreamerSZN pod on TikTok. Follow Christian at the Wiz_PHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps more people both in the U.S. and abroad find the pod, and share it with your friends and family, of course, as we continue on this journey of breaking down all your favorite shows and movies out there in the universe. And of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. And of course, we love the comment section. Leave your show and movie recommendations in the comment section. And let us know how you're feeling about the Acolyte, House of the Dragon, or whatever you're watching at home. Smash the like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below. Like I mentioned, we are at 808 subscribers. Let's get to 900. Let's get to 1,000. Let's make this happen. We're so close. Guys, as soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I got to make good on my promise, and I got to watch season 1 of Game of Thrones. So if you want me to be diving into Westeros full blown, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And of course, get your merch from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. If you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to the movies, Netflix and chilling, hanging out with your friends and family, watching your favorite shows and movies, whether it's The Acolyte, House of the Dragon, or anything in between, get that official StreamerSZN merch, hoodies, t-shirts, all of it available from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Go to phiapparel.co, click the link in the description. It is down there for you. And when you check out, use code Underground for 10% off your merch order. Most effective and direct way to support us and everything we're doing here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. When you get your merch, tag us in the post. We'll repost it everywhere. That's phiapparel.co and code Underground for 10% off your merch order, so you can stand out in the crowd. Christian, the Acolyte midway point is here. Quite the controversial episode amongst the diehard Star Wars fans on the interwebs this week. But how are we feeling about not only this episode, but at the halfway point after everything that has gone down so far?
I regret to say that I feel like it's falling into issues of just other Disney Plus products in general, where I feel like we're in a place where even though the story's kind of moved in the last 2 episodes, it's really just felt like we're treading water, and I don't love that. I don't love that at all, and it's kind of driving me to be continually less interested in the show after a great first 2 episodes.
Yeah, this episode was interesting. There was a lot of controversies on the interwebs, like I mentioned, about a certain character and things he said and this, that, and the third. And it's like, hey guys, insert the Mr. Incredible meme. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up.
Good luck
It's
with
not that
that.
big a deal. You know, people complaining about all of that, and it's like, well, take a look at Stranger Things. They changed Will Byers' birthday, and it was the funny haha laughs all around. And now we're freaking out about something that a fucking fake alien man said in the prequel show movies.
I am
Relax.
Groot.
It's not that serious. But yeah, I mean, after the first 2 episodes, it really felt like it was still very different Star Wars. I still feel like there is this different trajectory of Star Wars that's going to come from this show, but this episode did feel like we kind of went in neutral and kind of like stalled a bit compared to what we've gotten from the first 2 episodes. And obviously last episode we broke down was the flashback episode, but it does feel like we're getting, and I'll talk about it a little, it feels like we're getting a red herring in this episode in terms of who May's Sith Master is versus who the Sith that showed up in this episode was, and all of that. But I'll get into that when we finish breaking down the episode. But your overall thoughts just on this episode in general, Christian?
My overall thoughts, just in general. I wish this show went more genre and less traditional Star Wars. That's just my general thought. Because we had fun genre stuff in the first 2 episodes, and it's just kind of been drowned away, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for a bit of a script flip as we move forward, but looking at just
A script to flip.
a flip of the script. We have the same director next week. Before we get to Hanel Culpepper for episode 6 and 8, and then Koganada in episode 7.
Oh dear. Listen, Koganada, I love you. I hope they don't give you another flashback again.
That was Christian's Obi-Wan Kenobi impression, everybody. Oh dear.
No. Oh no there.
Oh
no
man.
there.
The episode was quite interesting. We're gonna break it down here. Christian, you want to give the people this week's patented spoiler warning?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Sith Lord asking you to pause this podcast in order to watch this week's episode through whatever devious means you may decide. And when you're done watching this week's episode of The Acolyte, please return to this podcast and embrace your inner Sith.
And here we go. It is episode 4 titled Day. So just a
Day
singular
and night.
shout out Kid Cudi.
Shout out Moon Knight.
Yeah. Another episode that's just a singular title as opposed to the first 2 episodes. So we have May and Kamir beginning to search for Kelnaka on Kofar. Kelnaka is obviously our Wookiee Jedi, where he is isolated himself in a forest. Sol discusses with May and several Jedi masters who believe her master must be a fallen Jedi. Is that a hint at the video game? They send him and Osha to apprehend May with a group of Jedi, including Yord and Jeki on Kofar. They use Tynan tracker Basil, who I think got the short end of the stick there, using him as a bloodhound rather than just for his intelligence. Was a little slap on the wrist for him. His character is very funny. He was like the rodent-like creature. To begin searching for Kelnaka by following his scent. Now I gotta take a time out here because you're looking for Kelnaka. Did you just keep Kelnaka's clothes on you like that? Like where did you get that from? Like that man just so happened to have a piece of his robe in his pocket for Basil to sniff. Osha's connection to the Force begins to grow again, and she connects with a large bug in the forest, which attacks them and is killed by Sol. May begins to feel that her mission to kill a Jedi without a weapon is impossible and no longer relevant to her now that she knows Osha is alive. She captures Kamir in a trap. It's a trap. And rushes to turn herself into Kelnaka, planning to reconnect with Osha and tell the Jedi what she knows about her master. However, she finds Kelnaka has been killed by someone using a lightsaber. The others soon arrive and surround May, ordering her to surrender before she can do anything. Her master appears behind them. The figure activates a red lightsaber and uses the Force to attack Osha and the Jedi. That man went, whoop,
Yeah,
and launched that ass.
my instant reaction was, that's a power level over 9,000.
Yeah, he absolutely yeeted her
Marked, yeah,
across the room.
Like it was like, it's 8-on-1, you fools. It's 1-on-0.
Dare I use the ever popular meme template now? His hand motion just went, you just got to give it that hawk Tua fling on that thing. Launched her across that forest. That Jedi looked like straight out of Alien because them teeth on that helmet was quite the spectacle. I was watching Eric Voss's initial reactions to this, and he said because he got a tour of Star Wars campus and got to meet with the creator of the show and everything, and they had told everyone who was there that there was going to be a Predator type episode. It was definitely this one.
Except the problem was, it was like the first half hour of Predator.
It was the short. I'm pretty sure this was the shortest episode we've gotten so far, too.
Yeah, it's what this episode in the comparison to Predator is. It's literally up to the point where the dude just, and now I believe it's the character played by Bill Duke, just takes the Gatling gun and just mows down the entire force. Like, if you cut Predator there, that's this episode.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it was quite something. I know there was a lot of takes about a certain Jedi being in the presence of all of this, and then in the prequel movie saying, "Oh, the Sith have been powerless for a millennia or something like that. It's like, yeah, the whole point of this show is to paint the Jedi in a light, no pun intended, that you've never seen them before and make you question all of their antics and doings and kind of make them look to be the villains. He's going to come across as somebody who is a pompous asshole because he's on the Jedi High Council, and he's going to try to make it to kind of erase history and make it seem like the Sith have been powerless for that long. That is the whole point of this show. That is the premise and baseline of how this show was pitched, is to make it seem like, you know, you can kind of relate more to the Sith than you can to the Jedi, and it makes the Jedi look like a bunch of assholes. That is the point of this show. I truly, it blew my mind when I saw so many people just like yelling into the void about one minor detail that makes so much sense for what this show's premise is.
Yeah, but and now I don't want to set the entire. Uh, Actually, no, I don't. I don't care because fuck them. That's why. Um, and we talked about this last week, but I need Star Wars fandom to die like tomorrow. It is just it is the most toxic, unhealthy fandom in existence that is so insanely protective over something that even George Lucas is just like, yeah, like the original film is the Vietnam War and it's space Nazis and it's rather less for the lack of a better term liberal. And now everyone's like, oh, like strong female characters, what? And like it's sure we can criticize how it's written, but I don't know why I got fed this, but on TikTok, George, I was fed a panel discussion from George Lucas where he's talking about how like print talking about how Princess Leia is a strong, badass female character, and no one has a problem with that. And so Star Wars has chased its own tail for so long, and the biggest problem here is I still feel like it's chasing its own tail, even even here, because we had the cool genre stuff in the first two, and it's like, all right, we got all the non-Star Wars people in the door. We're going back to normal Star Wars stuff. It's like, no, stop this. Like that, I'm gonna keep harking back on it. But the reason Andor is good is because it sticks to its conceit and it sticks to its tone for the entire season. It sticks to the spy. It sticks to the espionage. It sticks to the thriller. This show, through two episodes, had the Crouching Tiger vibes. It had the Asian influence vibes. And then we go on a flashback, and then we do the first 30 minutes of Predator, which isn't even a complete idea of something. It's it's like half an idea that needs another scene or two, because that's
This felt like half an episode.
yeah, like as much as it's a cool image to end on, the with the Sith just murking everyone, what what has this episode achieved? Like this is my biggest problem with so many of the Disney Plus shows. They pour money into these shows, and I go, what are we achieving on an episode by episode basis? And I mean this respectfully. The last two episodes have achieved almost nothing to me. And I know we have large differing opinions on last week's episode, but we didn't need an entire flashback episode right after we tease the fucking Wookiee. You end episode 2 with the Wookiee tease, and then you go into a flashback episode, and then you go get the Wookiee. I'm sorry, what? No, like that's not how this works. So after a great first episode, this is just structurally gone off the rails, and it makes me annoyed because it really seems like the only people in the Star Wars realm that have, let's just say, in the last decade have gotten to do their thing and been successful. Although one of these is gonna be controversial, Tony Gilroy and what he's done with Andor and Ryan Johnson. Because like, here's the thing, Kyle. What is your mileage on The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi. I always get the sequel numbers mixed up. Was that number 7?
No, it'd be 8.
8. It had its moments, and I thought it was solid. It was just one of those things that, like, when it's all said and done with that trilogy, you could tell that, like, the baton was passed to somebody else, and then it was passed back, and there was just, like, a lot of loose ends tying
Well,
everything together. Like, I didn't hate it, but I
well, the
understand why some people hate it.
and now we're just getting to larger Star Wars discussion here, but the reason that feels weird is because Ryan made his Star Wars film. He 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 didn't make a traditional Star Wars yada yada film. He made a Star Wars film that felt like something that was authored by a creative and not just out of the Star Wars canon, and it made people mad. And in a panic, they gave it back to J.J. Abrams, who's like, "I know how we solve this. Let's bring back Palpatine. Let's sidelight John Boyega's character." Basically, like they in in a panic in a panic caused by the fandom's reaction, they undid everything they did in that movie, and I think genuinely on a visual scale and on a narrative scale, it's it's a remarkably fresh film in the grand scale of Star Wars. And to me, it's notable that even not as the big Star Wars guy, the two things I've responded to the most, which I've I've watched like half a season of Mandalorian, and I just don't get it. Maybe that's just me, but I fundamentally am drawn to Ryan Johnson and Tony Gilroy's for stuff more, but also they're just better, more talented people who are way overqualified for doing this shit. And so this once again, I feel like I'm rambling on here, but we're in an issue where the dwindling quality of these major older IPs in comic books and movies is leading to a correction. And while Star Wars is attempting to survive on Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and Sean Levy, and Marvel's using Sean Levy and whatever indie directors they can drag up to try and fix this. I hate to bring it up, but no one's bold enough to do what they've done at DC, where if you look at what DC has done, at least you DC is actually empowering creators. I feel to a certain degree, like James Gunn is doing his Superman. Like I don't think anyone can dispute that at anyone can dispute that at all. Um, like like there's talks of James Mangold doing a Swamp Thing movie. Like Swamp James Mangold made Logan, for Christ's sake. Like Logan is a singular vision, and people consider it to be alongside Nolan's Dark Knight, like one of the best broad scale pop culture things. I don't know, since Christopher Reeve first put on the Superman suit, and Michael Keaton donned the Batman cape. Like and now what I need is I I and now Star Wars tried to do this by stop making movies, but I need Star Wars to just stop, wait a minute, and actually reevaluate what the fuck they're doing with their lives. Because even in their upcoming movie slate, it's like we basically did 4 seasons of The Mandalorian because, spoiler alert, the Christ, wait, Boba Fett became a Mandalorian show, and we're making a movie about them, and we're dragging Daisy Ridley back to make another Star Wars movie. And it's like, guys, like, stop this, reevaluate, get help. I need to cut my ranting off here because I'm going to keep going in circles.
I do have breaking news: the Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
No, Connor McDavid.
2-1.
Mhm.
Or I'm sorry, 2-1 in Game 7. Sorry to Canada, you're never winning the cup now because Matvei Michkov is coming over. Yeah, I mean, it was a very middle of the pack mid-season. Very fitting that the mid-season episode was mid. But we'll see how it hopefully flips the script and gets back to the good on the back half of the season. But Christian, for episode 4, what do you have your score as for the Acolyte?
Star Wars scale 6.8, TV scale 5.
Higher TV scale than last week.
Huh?
Last week TV scale you gave it or I'm sorry, I misread that.
I was gonna say, wait, hold on a minute.
I misread that. So yeah, your mid-season score on the Star Wars scale is looking like this. 7.65, which rounds up to a 7.7, and your regular TV scale score at the midway point is sitting at
6 something.
a 6.625, which rounds up to a 6.63, which then rounds down to a 6.6. I'm gonna give this episode 7.2. It was fine, but like I said, like it felt like half of an episode. Felt like it was they forgot to export the files together and upload the full thing, and it felt like we were missing a lot. Star Wars fans, you need to shut the fuck up because retcons can happen, and also this show is about painting the Sith to kind of be the anti-heroes and the Jedi being the bad guys. So get your fucking get your fucking ducks in an order. Figure it out.
Quack.
Quack quack. So there's your Acolyte breakdown for the week. I am going to fly off to Westeros and break down the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon Season 2. And when I return, we will be coming at you live from the streaming platform Multiverse to break down the latest in news and notes.
Let me out of the Phantom Zone.
So, hit the music. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to House of the Dragon segment here on StreamerSZN. It's KB flying solo for this one. Christian doesn't have his Westeros passport just yet, but we are going to get into House of the Dragon Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2. I apologize for the delay on getting these up. Was trying to figure out a way to record with somebody for these. It kind of fell through. We're working on some other things, hopefully to have somebody in-house joining me, all pun intended, for House of the Dragon Season 2 moving forward. But I'm here to break down episodes 1 and 2. If you haven't watched them yet, highly recommend going and watching them. And I know there's a lot of people who the first season of House of the Dragon were not all in because they had the Game of Thrones hangover and everything. I personally have never watched Game of Thrones, if you're new to this podcast. So this is all me watching a prequel series before even knowing anything really that goes on in Game of Thrones. I know bits and pieces, but when we get to 1,000 subscribers on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, which if you're watching this, hit that subscribe button, I will be diving in deeper to Westeros and watching season 1 of House of the Dragons, or of Game of Thrones, I'm sorry. So subscribe if you want me to dive deeper into Westeros, but we are going to get into House of the Dragon Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2. If you haven't watched them, click away in 3 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to get into Dem Dragons. So, Episode 1 of Season 2, A Son for a Son, directed by Alan Taylor and written by Ryan Condal. At the Wall, Cregan Stark promises Jace Targaryen 2,000 troops for Rhaenyra's forces. Rhaenys, who secured the Valyrians' shipping blockade of the Gullet, refuses Daemon's command to jointly kill Aemond and Vhagar to avenge Lucerys, a.k.a. Luke, who we last saw kind of get burned to shreds by Aemond and the dragon, Vhagar, to wrap up that season. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra flies to Storm's End and finds remains of Luke and his dragon Arax. Upon returning to Dragonstone, she demands revenge on Aemond, which was just a powerful scene. She's standing there. You see the grief in her eyes, the pain in her soul. And she says, "Bring me Aemond Targaryen." Aegon II strives to be a benevolent king, but Otto Hightower, his grandfather and his hand, urges toughness towards the small folk to secure resources for the war, despite the blockade. Aegon brings his young son and heir, Jaehaerys, to the small council for training. Larys exploits Alicent's fears of betrayal. Larys is our foot fetish guy. Guilt-ridden over Lucerys' death, she asks Otto to wage war sparingly. Having survived the brothel fire, Mysaria arrives at Dragonstone and is arrested for treason. Daemon offers her freedom in exchange for helping recruiting 2 assassins known as Blood and Cheese. Cheese is the rat catcher and the watch guard, who is nicknamed Blood. Sneaking into King's Landing, Daemon bribes Blood and Cheese to kill Aemond. Not finding him in the Red Keep, the two enter Helena's quarters and murder Jaehaerys instead, the young son of the twins. Gruesome scene. Quite a way to welcome back a show after not being around for last year. It's been 2 years since House of the Dragon has since been on the airwaves with fresh episodes, and it's one way to premiere. Helena, clutching Jaehaerys' twin sister Jaehaera, escapes to Alicent's chambers, finding her and Kristen Cole doing the dirty together. Quite the episode. It had so much impact in so many different areas of what is going on in House of the Dragon, from the Greens to the Blacks to the Valyrians, who are part of Team Black and House Black. It was quite an episode. I was jaw on the ground when that final scene happens with blood and cheese. Cheese with quite the line saying, "I know the inside of the Red Keep better than my own cock." Um, it was the banger type of premiere I think you expect from a show like this, and from what I have seen friends and family talk about the early phases of Game of Thrones, it's like you expect this kind of fire and fireworks and everything kind of coming from this show. It was unreal. I still can't believe that it happened the way that it happened. I'm a huge fan of just the way that this show's being portrayed as somebody who's never watched Game of Thrones. Um, they do a great job, and I know there's like bits and pieces that if I had watched Game of Thrones, I'd understand a little bit more, like the beginning at the wall with Cregan Stark and the sword that he's carrying. Apparently, that's Game of Thrones like Leo meme moment for a lot of people. But hell of a way to kick off season 2 for House of the Dragon. Um, Looking back, I do want to see what we gave House of the Dragon in terms of a score back in 2022 as a show. I do believe it made its way into one of the few shows that have cracked the nines as an overall show in our show's history since we've been keeping track of our review grades. So let's see. This was 2022. House of the Dragon wound up with a 9.1 out of 10 overall from me, and as an overall grade, Dylan gave it a 9 out of 10. But it has been quite the show to kick things off with. And, a lot of people are saying, how could you watch House of the Dragon without having watched Game of Thrones? And I'm like, it's a prequel series. So without having to worry about too much in terms of, backtracking and everything, I'm watching it in timeline order. So that's always fun. I'm going to try to keep track of my episode by episode scores too, so we can look back in August when the show is wrapped up on how things progress. But this was a banger of a way to enter the fold, and it brings out tons of emotion in so many different directions. I'm giving this episode a 9.2 out of 10 to kick things off. That's how you kick off a show, in my opinion. And just the way that it makes you so pissed off at Sir Kristen Cole to kick things off just reinvigorates that hate for a character, not the actor, the character itself, is just insane. I want to see what the reception was here. So A Sun for a Sun was watched by a total of 7.8 million viewers, which included linear viewers during its premiere night on June 16th. 22% decrease from the first season premiere, which was watched by 10 million viewers, while on HBO alone, it was watched by an estimated 1.3 million viewers during its first broadcast. The critical response, Rotten Tomatoes, it holds an approval rating of 100% based on 22 reviews, with an average rating of 7.4 out of 10. And the site's critical consensus says A Sun for a Sun carefully sets the pieces in the oncoming civil war before shockingly flipping the whole board, getting this season off to an unpredictable start. Den of Geek gave it a 5 out of 5. The Independent and Vulture gave it a 4 out of 5. Screen Rant gave it a 3.5 out of 5. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. Collider gave it a 7 out of 10, as did Comic Book Resources, aka CBR. B+ from the AV Club. Lots of great reviews for episode 1, and it only gets crazier in episode 2, but I'm giving it a 9.2 out of 10 for the kickoff to House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 1. And now we will get into Episode 2, titled Rhaenyra the Cruel. longer episode for this one, 69 minutes for this episode, so a little over an hour. So in King's Landing, in the chaos following his son Jaehaerys' murder, Aegon is violently enraged. He hastily assembles his small council, wanting revenge on Rhaenyra, though Lord Jasper Wilde believes she may be innocent. Otto suggests a public funeral to gain the small folk's sympathy and alienate them against Rhaenyra. During the funeral procession, the commoners express their condolences to Alicent and Helaena, while a herald calls out Rhaenyra's crimes, calling her out as Rhaenyra the Cruel. Blood, one of the assassins, is captured and, under the threat of torture, confesses to Larys that he has acted on Daemon's orders, along with a rat catcher whose name he does not know. Aegon then angrily batters Blood's head with a mace, and Aegon and Helaena fail to reconnect amid their shared grief. Likewise, Alicent is unable to comfort either Aegon or Helaena. And seeking solace with Sylvie at her brothel, Aemon feels flattered at being Daemon's target, while also expressing remorse over Lucerys' accidental death. Elsewhere, Hugh Hammer arrives home to his sick daughter and wife, Kat, who blames their worsening situation on the shipping blockade. Also, Aemon looked like just a weird, feeble little alien creature. The way he was all skinny and lanky, it was really gross. I was like, this dude is just like skin and bones. Looked like Slender Man in that brothel. Sir Criston Cole, deflecting responsibility for failing to protect Jaehaerys, blames Auric. I'm going to pronounce it that way so you guys know that is Eric Cargill spelled with an A, and orders him to infiltrate Dragonstone disguised as his twin Eric, spelled with an E, and assassinate Rhaenyra. Unable to identify Blood's accomplice, Aegon has all rat catchers, including Cheese, publicly hanged, infuriating Otto, who fears a public backlash. Their heated argument results in Aegon dismissing Otto as Hand of the King and appointing that son of a bitch, Sir Criston Cole, as his replacement. Otto and Alicent discuss how they can manage Aegon. Later, Alicent angrily lashes out at Criston before they become passionate. That is how the episode ends, but we have more to discuss here. But man, Sir Criston Cole is just the absolute worst. This guy and Aegon is no different. I saw a great meme on Twitter, which send us your memes, send us your theories and everything. We call them Dragon Scrolls on this show. We will read them on the show. You can DM us on the socials if you're watching House of the Dragon. Leave a comment in the YouTube comment section, your thoughts on the episodes and your theories moving forward. We'll read them on preceding shows. I saw a great meme. It said, it's always two bitches in a corner talking, saying, exactly. That's Aegon and Sir Criston Cole. To a T. I can't stand either of them. And then at Driftmark, Alan and his brother Adam are reunited. Adam suggests Alan could climb in rank now that he has Lord Corlys's favor for saving his life. Later, while gathering crabs at the beach, that made me think of the crab feeder, I believe his name was. Adam spots a dragon flying in the sky. After Jaehaerys' murder, this is at Dragonstone. After Jaehaerys' murder and the Green's accusations, Rhaenyra fears support for her will weaken, and Rhaenyra asks Daemon if he ordered Jaehaerys' death if Aemon was not found. She also asks if he resents her inheriting the throne rather than himself, then claims she can no longer trust him. An argument ensues, resulting in Daemon departing for Harrenhal. Rhaenyra sends Baela to scout King's Landing on her dragon Moondancer, and she and Jaehaerys discuss their families and future. Rhaenyra interrogates Mysaria regarding her connections to Daemon and the Greens before reluctantly granting her freedom. While departing Dragonstone, Mysaria notices Auric, with an A, arriving, and she alerts the guards. Auric finds Rhaenyra's chamber, but Eric bursts in, and the two fiercely battle. Amazing fight scene. Rhaenyra's guards arrive, but they are unable to tell the twins apart. Eric kills Auric, saving Rhaenyra, but overcome with grief from killing his brother, he commits trigger warning, suicide by falling on his sword. Unbelievable scene, unbelievable cinema. The sword battle and combat was incredible. And, you know, we're watching The Acolyte with two twins and seeing this, it's just like trying to keep up with who is who. Had my brain in a jumble. This episode was unbelievable. A crazy follow-up to the premiere. They did such a great job with just like building tension and building, hatred for characters and making the viewer at home decide who they want to be, the victor in this civil war between the Greens and the Blacks. Um, Another unbelievable episode that got a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 16 reviews with an average rating of 7.5 out of 10. TV Fanatic gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Den of Geek gave it a 4 out of 5. Screen Rant, who previously found the blood and cheese scene disappointing, praised the episode's depiction of its aftermath. CBR scored it a 9 out of 10. Collider gave it an 8 out of 10. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. AV Club gave it a B+. And guys, this episode was unreal. It continues to deliver episode in and episode out. I know I just gave episode 1 a 9.2. This one, it's building more tension. It's giving more of a picture of how things could potentially shake out down the line. 2 big-time chess pieces are off the board with the Cargills both dead now, and how things can really shake out and what's going to happen at Driftmark. I'm giving this episode a 9.4. It was unbelievable. It makes you want more and more, and I can't wait to see what episode 3 delivers. So I'm giving a 9.4 and a 9.2 for episode 1. They were both brilliant episodes. Let me know how you're feeling about House of the Dragon season 2 in the YouTube comment section. DM us, tweet at us at StreamerSZN. And without any further ado, let's cut it back to Christian and myself as I fly back from Westeros and we dive in to the streaming platform Multiverse news and notes. But before I do, our House of the Dragon segment was brought to you by a brand new partner. That's right, guys, a brand new partner here at Underground Sports Philadelphia that you'll be hearing a bunch about from us on StreamerSZN, and that is Duracell Portable Power Stations. That's right. This portion of today's episode is brought to you by our new partner, Duracell Portable Power Stations. From the #1 trusted battery brand, Duracell Portable Power Stations and charging hubs allow you to power your laptops, mobile devices, lights, speakers, and any small electronics that make your life easier during a power outage or while away from a wall outlet. A game changer, guys. You're on the go. You need your phone charged. We're here in the studio. We need things charged. We got to keep things going while we have TVs running, while we're watching our favorite shows and movies. This is a game changer, and it's from the #1 trusted battery brand in Duracell. Like, think about that. I can't wait to get my charging station here in the studio to clean some things up and make things easier to charge. And you guys can do the same. Click the link in the description and check out the Duracell Portable Power Stations, including their 2024 Red Dot Award-winning M150 and M250 models, and untether your device charging from the wall and power the possibilities with Duracell Portable Power Stations. And now, without any further ado, let's cut it back to myself and Christian and dive in to the streaming platform Multiverse news and notes. Hey everyone, it's KB, and I am beyond excited to bring you this breaking news about a new project here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Introducing Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast where all of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia personalities will come together to discuss, banter, and break down the Olympic Games. Coming soon wherever you get your podcasts and on our YouTube channel throughout the 2024 Olympics and beyond. It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light lager, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories and just 8 grams of carbs. Now available in the first state. It's available in Delaware, as well as Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland. Go to kenwoodbeer.com to check out where you can find Kenwood Beer on tap in those areas. And of course, you can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. And if you're in the Philadelphia area and you're going to a concert, a live podcast at the Man Center, you can get Tallboy Kenny's all season long at the Man. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Shout out to Kenwood Beer. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. Christian, I wanted to get your thoughts because I feel like you would kind of get this a little more than me and put it more in perspective for me. So we got premiere views for House of the Dragon, season 1 versus season 2. Season 1's premiere views was 9.9 million, and I feel like that's obviously, the built up hype and seeing if, it corrects some of the wrongs from what people feel like was a disastrous final season and just the return of a Game of Thrones show. And then season 2, 7.8 million views.
Okay, I'm pulling up some quick numbers to quickly calculate. Okay, so for perspective, Kyle, can you quickly name me another big primetime HBO show that you can think of that is not named Succession?
The Last of Us.
Okay. Last of Us.
Well, I shouldn't do The Last of Us because it's only one season.
No, it's fine because
Okay.
I think this illustrates the point. So, for comparison of everything here, everyone's so season 3 of Ted Lasso, which we still technically haven't finished, Kyle. Well, you still technically haven't finished. Did about 870,000 upon premiere. Season 4 of Succession did 2.3 million. The Last of Us premiere did 4.7. So, in this modern day and age, that's a good number.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't feel like obviously it's less, but like it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing that it's less, because I feel like some people are like kind of waiting to see if it's worth diving back into. And I know there's people that didn't even watch season 1 of House of the Dragon, so I feel like a lot of people are waiting. So I feel like that number is not that terrible of a drop off.
Yeah, no, like it's being around 10 million is good, in my opinion.
Yeah, so viewership was down 21%. Speaking of Game of Thrones, the prequel series A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is now filming. And Finn Bennett, no relation as far as I know, has been cast as Aeron Targaryen in the series. One of the funnier quotes that I've seen over the past week is Eric Kepke says that Marjorie Taylor Greene was the inspiration for Firecracker in The Boys season 4. Quote, "You have these Trump spawn that are trying to outdo each other for how outrageous, sexualized, gun-toting, and slavishly obedient they can be. And with Homelander, he would start to create these spores that would grow into these other characters, and she's a version of that."
So, one thing I want to bring up here, and this is in the long lineage of these projects need to stop existing. They're making Spaceballs too, but they're not bringing back Bill Pullman, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to drag Rick Moranis out of retirement. And this is kind of becoming. And now listen, I love you, Mel, and I enjoy that you committed to the bit of making History of the World Part 2. Though it would have been even funnier if you just called it History of the World Part 3 and had it be set in the future and just totally skipped over History of the World Part 2. But the fact you are not committing, well, first of all, listen, all due respect to Josh Gad, but I need Josh Gad to stop being like, Josh Gad will be directing this thing. It's like, no, listen, all due respect to Josh Gad, I don't think you're that funny, bro. I don't. I just don't. And even if Mel is involved in this, first of all, John Candy's dead. So Barf is dead. And if you can't drag Rick Moranis out of retirement, convince Bill Pullman to come back, and bring what's her name back, I don't know why you make this movie. I just don't. And if you're going to call it Spaceballs 2, you legally have to call it Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money, just like yogurt jokes in the movie. So you aren't even giving it the right name.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
This comes via part of my take of all places. They had Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla on their show, and he
Write
says
this thing.
he showed the interrogation room scene from The Dark Knight to Jason Tatum to work on, quote, handling expectations and pressure. Batman goes, "Why do you want to kill me?" The Joker starts laughing at him like, "I don't want to kill you. I need you. You complete me." It was the coolest moment of good and evil having to coexist. Differences have to coexist in order to bring the best out of each other. Joe Mazzulla might be the biggest movie nerd and also cringiest person ever.
That was grade A coach bullshit.
Yes. That would absolutely work on Jason Tatum. Moving right along here.
Hold on. I gotta tap in here. The directing duo that needs to get out of Hollywood ASAP, the Russo brothers.
Oh boy.
Their upcoming movie, The Electric State, is supposedly have cost $300 million to produce. I'm sorry, guys. You need to start directing like $5 million films, because you even getting $100 million at this point, I don't trust you to make a good movie.
That feels like a money laundering scheme.
I mean, let me quickly double check who is distributing it. Because if it's Netflix, it's fully money laundering scheme.
Taysom Hills.
Yep, it's a Netflix movie because Netflix loves to give these people the money for some reason. And here's the premise: a girl is approached by a robot to look for her missing brother, and with it, she sets out to find him. Which this movie has Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Ki Hui Kwan, Stanley Tucci, uh, George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander, Brian Cox, Jenny Slate, Giancarlo Esposito, Anthony Mackie, and Billy Bob Thornton.
And when does this movie allegedly come out?
Some point this year.
I want us to give our way too early Rotten Tomatoes prediction for this movie.
6%.
I was gonna say 16.
I'm going to hate this thing with a passion. But one thing I won't hate with a passion that I'm very excited for, and I know we will 100% be covering on the show because I will force you to, The Penguin.
Oh yeah, I'm already all in.
You've watched The Batman, right?
Yeah, I saw it in
Okay.
theaters.
Well, I couldn't remember because it used to be a joke that you never reviewed the Batman, so I was not 100% sure if you had.
Oh yeah. That I think that was more on Dylan.
Dylan, stop time slipping.
Come back. Yeah. Do we have like an actual date? I know it's September for the Penguin. I don't know if they put a release date.
I don't think we have an exact date yet, but there's worse problems to have.
True. Here's our feeling way too fucking old moment of the pod. Steven Spielberg, who is a frequenter of my hometown, apparently, his film Jaws was released 49 years ago this week.
And to make some other people feel older, we are recording this on June 24th. It's been 30 years to the day since The Lion King came out, which Kyle and I may have some content coming in the next couple of weeks about The Lion King, which Kyle, I just thought of the most soul-crushing thing we could do.
Oh boy.
We could watch both Lion Kings.
You're talking Lion King 1 and Lion King 2, correct?
No, I'm I've never watched, and I refuse to watch the where's my camera? Live action
Yeah, I haven't
version, and the only way I will watch it is if we watch both and talk about both and rip that one to shreds simultaneously.
Here's the only way we're gonna watch that one.
If we hit 50,000 subscribers.
Get us to 900 subscribers, number one. Number two, before we watch it and after we watch the good Lion King, we have to watch Lion King 1.5.
Is it on Disney Plus?
It should be. I
Okay.
hope it is. It would be a crime if it's not. But yeah, Lion King 1.5 has a core childhood memory for me because I was at my best friend's house when we were younger. They have a younger sister, and she was way too young to be watching what we eventually were watching. We had Lion King 1.5 queued up on the TV where you could like change the channel back and forth. But what we were actually watching was Jackass. And then parents come downstairs. What are you guys doing? Flip up. Lion King 1.5. And then we flip back and boom, Jackass back.
Hold on, sticking on this. What is a Disney movie videotape you vividly remember a relative having at their house? Because I have one,
question.
and I never watched the one I'm going to say, but
I want to say Lion King was definitely one of them, but also Hercules and Fantasia.
so the one I vividly remember in my grandmother's house, Anastasia.
Oh, yes.
And I still haven't watched the movie to this day.
I've watched it, but it was a long time. But yes, that is definitely a staple of Grandma's house.
But I vividly remember it sitting underneath the TV next to like Sleeping Beauty and a few other things.
Yes, 100%. Oh, we got to make a graphic that just says, "What Disney VHS tape do you remember being at your grandparents' house?"
Yeah.
Some unfortunate news this past week. Donald Sutherland has passed away at the age of 88.
I'm gonna clear out for a second here. Give me some space. I don't think we realize how great Donald Sutherland was, because a lot of people of my age will think of him as President Snow, and if I'm being honest, rightfully so. That was his performance that defined my generation of people. But if you just look throughout his filmography, he's been involved in so many great and iconic films. People really first noticed him during the famous World War II movie, The Dirty Dozen. He then is in the MASH movie. He then gets involved in the first of the three paranoia trilogy films, in Clute, which is a great 70s thriller. in 1973, he was involved in what some people consider to be the greatest British film ever made in uh, in the movie Don't Look Now. He, he was in Kentucky Fried Movie. He was in Animal House. He was he played a major role in the iconic Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake, one of the rare remakes where you can actually make a case that's better than make a strong case that's better than the original. He was in Ordinary People. He was in his one scene in JFK. He is iconic for every conspiracy theorist ever to exist. He plays a pyromaniac in Backdraft. He plays a rogue military general in a COVID-ish thing in Outbreak. Like this is and let's not forget 2005 Pride and the Prejudice. He's also in that. This was an actor who did everything and had a presence about him, and I don't think we realized just how much he contributed to society and contributed to the medium of movies during his career.
Yeah, I mean, you just sift through his IMDb and you just be like, holy shit. Um, Absolute legend. I know Kiefer posted that he was battling through like an ongoing illness, and that's what led to his passing. So, rest in peace to a legend. Also, I do have more breaking news about the Stanley Cup, Christian.
Conn Smythe, Connor.
Connor McDavid. He becomes just the sixth player and second non-goalie to win the Conn Smythe as a playoff MVP on a losing team.
What two of them are Flyers, right?
I think so.
I there was there was a graphic of this that I got fed on that I saw on TV at one point. It was during the '70s run. Yeah, Reggie Leach in '76, I think,
Yep.
was one of them, and then Ron Hextall in '87. Pain.
All we know is pain. All we know is pain. Um, so according to Total Film, Deadpool and Wolverine takes place 6 years after the second Deadpool movie.
I don't care. Just amuse me, you fucking goose.
Um, Vincent D'Onofrio says he's unsure when Kingpin will show up next due to the Marvel Sony rights. Quote, so there are Marvel characters invented by Marvel that are caught in between Marvel and Sony. My character is that kind of situation, unlike Charlie's. Oh, what you're telling me, Vincent, is you're going to show up in a Spider-Man movie.
Pain.
Thunderbolts has wrapped filming.
Eh. I mean, I guess they have a year. You meanwhile, is Captain America still doing reshoots?
Probably.
Well, speaking of MCU movies, do we want to talk about the ongoing, never-ending disaster that is Blade?
Is there more from the last episode?
I mean, did did we talk about the train?
Oh no, we texted about that though.
Kyle, do you who which one of us wants to find the thing? Um, where are we? No, that's not it. Where is it? Why can't I find it?
Um, Let's see.
Found. Okay. This was from One Take News. A massive train set was built for Blade prior to the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, meant to be an integral part of the movie. The set will not be used in the new present-day take on the movie and will be passed on to another Disney production. And this was from a Hollywood Reporter article. This movie is going to cost like $15 billion, and it's going to be a tax write-off.
I have
And it's
more
and
updates too.
it's no longer going to star Mahershala Ali. Instead, it's going to be like Tyrese from the Fast and the Furious films. like that's how bad this movie's spinning out of fucking control.
So more from the Hollywood Reporter. Apparently, it is set in the present day. Mia Goth is still attached to the project, but it's unclear
Yay?
which role. But she was previously going to play the vampire Lilith. The
I
script
mean,
will be
she's
rewritten over the summer and then sent out to directors. Mahershala Ali sees Blade as his Black Panther.
hold on. How old is Mahershala Ali? Hold on.
Also, the project was announced almost
Yeah, I
5
know.
years ago.
Yeah.
For everybody at home.
Mahershala Ali's 50. Over under 54 when this movie comes out.
Another presidency?
Yeah, that's the presidency.
Good grief.
Because here's the sad thing. This movie's dated for next year.
Here's the real thing. What comes out first, Avengers 5 or Blade?
Avengers 5, 100%.
Because I do have an update on that. Benedict Cumberbatch confirms he's returning for Avengers 5 and filming starts next year.
I mean,
the fact that they're filming Avengers 5 before Blade even has a finalized script is bonkers.
Like, Kyle, this Blade movie's supposed to come out November 7th of next year.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you cannot convince me that this movie is even going to remotely enter production until the end of next year.
Yeah, there's no way. You'll like this.
Will I?
Ralph Innocent says the Fantastic Four script is, quote, cool as fuck. Quote, I'm not someone who knows the whole lore of Marvel. My son is an expert. He's been schooling me for the last couple of months. What a badass quote.
I mean, listen, Ralph, I love you for it. I'll believe it when I see it. In fun, hilarious news, evangelical protesters have been spotted outside the world premiere of Maxine. Kyle, do you know what Maxine is about?
No, but I was going to say, weren't they just on a golf course on Sunday?
True. So Maxine is the third film in a horror movie trilogy, and it stars Mia Goth as a porn actress trying to become a normal actress.
Okay.
To actually give some good Star Wars news, Ben Mendelsohn's returning for Andor Season 2 as Krennic.
Huge. You'll also like this quote. The Fantastic Four cast are just dishing out quotes this week. This is from The Daily Show. Ebon Moss-Bachrach was asked
I saw this.
how he's been training to play the Thing in the Fantastic Four. And he said, I've just been looking at rocks. Brilliant.
The Batman 2 begins filming early next year. Check.
Finally.
We've been James Gunn's currently filming his Superman film in Cleveland right now, and we've been getting a crap ton of set photos, so we know what David Cornswet looks like in his outfit. And probably my favorite note from all of it is not even a picture of the actors, but of James Gunn's trailer. Did you see this?
No.
The sign on his trailer in comic book font just says director. It doesn't even say James Gunn, it just says director.
That's hilarious. I would love if Superman, because David Cornsweet obviously is from Philadelphia, it
boy.
would be great if Superman just had hoagie mouth. Yeah, you just want to go to Krypton, bro?
Freaky Friday 2 is filming. Why?
Sure.
Can we get like Parent Trap 2 instead? I don't
Right.
know.
Chris Pine says there's a really good chance they make another Dungeons and Dragons film.
I
If
mean,
they can
yeah.
figure out a financial way to make it work, they'll do it.
I mean, see that's actually a sequel I'd sign up for because like even though I didn't see the first film,
I heard it was like decent.
yeah, fun, a financial success, and Chris Pine got to be fun Chris Pine. Like that's all I want in life. Inside Out continuing to wreck shop at the box office. Congrats, guys.
I have a very fun thing here from our pals over at Culture Crave Christian. I want you to rank these 6 live action comic book villains: Homelander, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Heath Ledger's Joker, Thanos, and Magneto.
Which version of Magneto?
What's his name?
Stewart or Fassbender? No,
It's
sorry. Pardon. McKellen or Fassbender.
McKellen.
Okay, well, I have to throw McKellen out simply because I haven't watched any of the McKellen X-Men films. But Ledger 1, Anthony Starr 2, Defoe 3, Thanos 4, Doc Ock 5, even though that feels wrong and I want to switch and I want to put Thanos last. I don't know. But I think the top 2 is clear and then the rest it's like go fight in a pile of mud.
9 years ago this week, Tom Holland was cast as Spider-Man. He found out through an Instagram post. Quote, after my final audition, they said, you'll find out tomorrow. Fast forward 6 weeks. Marvel just posted it on their Instagram. They didn't call me up or anything.
Okay, so interesting thing here. My friend and I one night in this past week because we're prone to having 2-hour text conversations at like 1 a.m. about just movie stuff. We were trying to think through, okay, what if they did a live action Adventures of Tintin? Do you know what Adventures of Tintin is?
I know the name. I'm just blanking on.
Well, it's a comic thing that Spielberg adapted into
Okay, I remember this.
and the first person who came to mind to play Tintin for me was Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Which I think is good and bad for Tom, because all due respect to Tom, but I don't. He has a lot of talents, but I don't think he's the best actor. Like, Tom can sing, Tom can dance, Tom can look 12 years old.
Tom can wear Spider-Man underpants.
Tom can wear Spider-Man underpants. I don't think Tom's a great actor. And so I look at the Spider-Man films, and I'm like, he's all right. I look at Uncharted, I'm like, that film's not his fault.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, you failed miserably at being successful at both of your dramatic films in Cherry, Cha- Chaos Walking, and your Netflix show. And so it's like, just like, respectfully, just pull a Tom Cruise and just only do like these like action films that you can be a fun little cheery cherub in.
Cheery cherub is crazy. Um, this one I'm not mad about because I like the character and I like the voice actor and I like the actor. Eddie Murphy confirms a Donkey movie is in the works. He's also started recording his lines for Shrek 5 and thinks that will release in 2025. I'm all about a Donkey movie. Eddie Murphy's fucking hilarious. He portrays Donkey flawlessly. And we all know it's just going to be full of laughs, and Donkey's one of the most iconic like comedy animated characters of all time.
Can we stop scraping the IP barrel, guys? Please.
Well, speaking of the IP barrel, Christian, we have Scarlett Johansson's secret role. She confirms she's starring in the new Jurassic World movie.
But we've known that, Kyle. We've known this. It's not secret.
The script is so incredible. I've been trying to get into this franchise in any way possible for over 10 years. I'm like, I'll die in the first 5 minutes. I can get eaten by whatever. I'll do the craft service. I'll do anything for it. The fact that it's happened in this way at this time just is actually unbelievable.
Stop with the actor bullshit. Stop with the actor bullshit. Stop with the actor bullshit. Scarjo, please. I can't. I can't listen to this. I I love how you just didn't look at me during that entire time, at, as I'm like loading the gun, checking the gun. Like, just go back and watch that in post, and you're going to die inside. I can't with this shit, man. I can't.
It just reminded me of the video meme of the dude that's in the bank. He's just lined up and he's holding the gun to his head. I was just picturing your face on that guy. Or the Shane Gillis clip where he's got the gun pointed at everyone and everyone's freaking out, and then he points it in his mouth.
Dude.
Oh, that was great. Oh, fucking A. I think I got my abs back for 0.2 seconds. Hugh Jackman on returning as Wolverine for Deadpool and Wolverine. From emotion, humor, dialogue, and action, everything felt new and fresh to me. There was not a day where I wasn't in tears laughing. Ironic. I felt so rejuvenated playing the part. I'm 25 years in, man, and it feels better than ever.
Congrats, you.
This is very fitting because his character is an absolute piece of shit loser.
And Anthony Starr.
No, complete opposite. Because nobody should like this guy's character, and it's a credit to the actor
Donald Trump.
for portraying such a shitbag character. House of the Dragon star Fabian Frankel, who plays Sir Kristen Cole in House of the Dragon, who is just an utter piece of shit, is now limiting his comments on Instagram because people were just commenting just hateful stuff, thinking that it was actually Sir Kristen Cole, which is just a credit to him as an actor for being an absolute shitbag in character portrayal. But let's remember, we got to separate actors from their characters.
In news that both tickles my fancy and makes me go, do I actually want this? Director Doug Liman reveals that Warner Brothers keeps asking him if he will ever make a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's the Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, alien invasion war Groundhog Day film, which is a great movie. It's an extremely underrated movie. I suggest everyone go watch it. But it's kind of hilarious that this is something that they've literally been talking about for 10 years and they still haven't done it. So it's like, listen, as much as I'd enjoy this, I think it's time to move on from this conversation.
This comes from Agents Fandom on the tweet machine. Tatiana Maslany was asked if Jennifer Walters is still dating Matt Murdock. Quote, she's keeping her options open, but I'm pretty sure she'd hit that again. Credit to our guy Charlie Cox. All pun intended there.
I find this interesting. Toho reveals that they have rules for all future Godzilla projects that Godzilla is not allowed to die or, quote, prey on people or things. Which I'm confused about how that'll actually work. Because you have Godzilla -1, which is Godzilla preying on people and things, and he dies. But is it not dead in the end? Stinger. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the hell happens there with that.
Yeah. Anything else, Christian? I don't have anything left on my list.
What do we want to quickly talk about Nosferatu?
Sure.
So we finally officially got the release of the Nosferatu trailer today. For those of you who don't know, the long history of Nosferatu. So the first Nosferatu film was in 1922, directed by German director F.W. I believe it's Murnau, who tragically died young in a car accident in California. But it's adapted from the famous Bram Stoker Dracula novel that was published in 1897. And now, in 2024, director Robert Eggers, who people may know from The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman, has his Nosferatu coming out on what is surely the most fucked up holiday movie ever, on Christmas Day. And I'm just going to read off the cast of this. Bill Skarsgård is Nosferatu. Congrats. Bill Skarsgård has now played a murderous supernatural clown and Dracula. Bill, do you need help? This movie also has Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, Ralph Ineson, Willem Dafoe, and Simon McBurney. Yes, 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 yes. This is the one for the sickos, boys. This is the one for the sickos.
It is quite sicko mode. Also, I'm dying because the Stanley Cup official account tweeted, "No mouthguard needed. Come kiss me, Matthews Chuck." And Julia Nikak, I believe is how her last name is pronounced. She works in social for the Phillies. Quote tweet and said,
Oh, her.
"Bro, take him on a date first. Jesus." That's all I've got for this episode. Shout out to Peru once again. I feel like, am I right? Was it Peru? That was
Yeah.
the
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we got to watch Emperor's New Groove now.
I am Groot.
Make
Pull
sure you
the
guys
lever, Kyle.
Make sure you guys are following us on the socials. Pull the lever on the follow button at StreamerSZN, StreamerSZN Pod on TikTok. Follow Christian at the Wiz_PHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Ring the bell icon. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you're feeling about the Acolyte, House of the Dragon, Season 2, and anything else you're watching at home. Be sure to get your merch from our awesome merch partners, phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off your order. And this has been another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Christian, I'm KB. We are going to go travel through a Sith jungle and then fly off to Westeros. But until next time, we will see you